How sound were you to be sure of taking up projects or getting projects that you would sustain?
I
And
was
all of
thrown.
it.
Okay, I was thrown out of my job. I still remember. I started from a garage, like
Wow.
literally a garage.
Wow.
I was everybody from the CEO to Chaprasi.
Hmm.
I used to do jhadu in my own office and make my own chai and open the shutter every day, garage ka, going.
But it's amazing that at least, like, you're not fighting.
No, we are not.
It, it's
No, we
it's
now
it's it's constructive. Whatever
it
you're
is
talking about is
constructive,
still
yeah.
constructive.
So if there is a project that I'm working on and I'll always take his opinion. I will always show my design to him. What do you think? He will always improve on it, comment on it. If there is his project, then I will always make sure that I give my inputs on it. The best things happen when you get out, when you get uncomfortable, right? When you get out of your um, uh, you know, uh, space in your cocoon, and then that's how you start
Sure.
getting better and better is what I would say. You are
You
partner.
had your life partner,
Yeah.
also your work partner,
Yeah.
working in the same office, being together the whole day. Like, I want to know how this worked for you. So, guys, we've got the Pataka Priyanka on our show today, and I'm so happy. And I was really looking forward to this episode. She canned on us for a couple of times, and भूल गई मैं नहीं भूला ठीक है आई बड़ी 2 घंटे so so we
I'm just thinking, how much are you planning to edit it?
this is not going to be edited.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking.
अच्छा
like,
जो
हाँ.
अच्छा
हाँ
okay.
नहीं नहीं तो मतलब तू कितना एडिट करेगा कि तूने 2 घंटा मुझे वेट कराया. So I'm just planning. I'm gonna put it after every sentence. After 2 hours, this is my view.
So on Shu Khabar, we believe that we've got a lot of these young designers, students, entrepreneurs, and other people who look up to this industry, the design industry, okay, and they look up to people like you know, your work, and the best part of you is also your humor, your sensibility that you bring on the table, which is, I feel, very rare in general, okay. So you had to be a part of this whole season 1 that we had curated.
Yeah, I was
in the
supposed to be the opening.
You didn't have time for us.
No,
okay.
no, but it's okay. This is how close friends are.
Okay, so the idea is that we have people. Okay, the whole concept of Shu Khabar is that in the real world is forgotten. Everyone will post good things, fancy things, and all of that, okay, which I feel is a wrong message to people who are trying to build their career, build their future, that, oh, if it is not this, then we're not doing it correctly, or we're not doing it right, or we're not on the right path, right? But, right now is the time where we want to talk about the journey, we want to talk about the failures, we want to talk about everything, which our audience can relate to, that hey, if she can do it, so can I. So that's the whole idea, and it was a very curated list where we have people from different walks of this design industry, and everyone has a different point of view, and I'm sure you have a very eccentric point of view from somebody else who's already been on this seat. So starting up with Priyanka, is that we would like to know your journey right from your student years to how you wanted to be an architect and to what you're doing right now.
बहुत लंबा है यार. पूरा एपिसोड ही खत्म हो जाएगा.
Okay, tell me, give me tell me about your childhood days. About did you always want to be an architect?
Yeah, so I think the only career option I ever thought was being an architect.
Wow, sick.
I have never thought of being anything else in my life. Even if somebody comes and tells me, what do you want to be? I don't have an answer because I've never thought of anything else.
Wow.
I decided I wanted to be an architect when I was in standard 8th. I'm a romantic at heart. I used to love reading these Daniel Steele novels. and one of them was called Thurston House, which is about a house where a family moves in. It's designed. I mean, of course, it's the way the description is. It's beautiful, and it's and in the entire journey of the book, how the house changes, as the occupants changes. There is a marriage, there is a divorce, there are kids which are happening. There is another marriage. So happiness comes and goes. And in the entire journey, the house changes, and how the architect had planned, whether it was the central lobby or the bedrooms or everything, they were a very essential part of the entire book. And that was the time, and I was reading when, like I said, I was in 8th standard, and that is the time I felt that I want to be a part of people's life in a way that they remember me always. They don't remember me just for something that I did, but on an everyday basis. Yes, I mean, clients remember you for bad things and for good things. But my thought, even at that point, was like, I want to be a part of their lives. I want to be a part of their journey. How they eat, how they sleep, how they celebrate, how they cry, how they grieve, every single thing. And that is where the emotion came from. I'm talking 1994. Wow. 1994, yeah. Yeah, wow. I feel old. Wow. Yeah. So I think I think I was 14 years old at 19. Yeah, I was 14 when I had read it, and of course I started working towards that career. And at that point in time, you could either be an engineer or be a doctor. There was no other career profession, those days. So when I went and told my parents that I wanted to be an architect, they first did not understand who the an architect, and so I had to explain to them, and that's how I decided, like in 11th standard, that I wanted engineering drawing as a part of my elective subject, and they didn't understand. This is what engineering naam aa raha hai, to isko lene dete hain, but they did not understand that. And obviously they were eventually, when I started applying after my 12th, they still had a problem, and then my father started asking around, and the first thing he said, तेरे को पता है कि एक PN की salary भी तेरे से ज़्यादा होगी, which is true. When I passed out in 2004, the PN salary was 6,000 rupees and architect salary was 4,000 rupees.
Right.
And I said, it's okay. I mean, I don't think it's ever been about the money for me. It's always about the emotions. And so I said, no, it's okay, it's fine. And my father used to call me architecture. And imagine coming from my own family, and I come from a businessman's family. So there are only businesses that we talk about, and and eventually we started talking about being an engineer or a doctor. But architecture, like, so I told my father that, Dad, it's architecture. And he was like, जिस दिन तू architecture कर लेगी ना, उस दिन मैं तेरे को architecture के सिवाय कुछ बुलाऊंगा. So that is how my journey into architecture began. And I mean, college days were okay. I mean, I was studying at AVJ School of Architecture in Delhi, Greater Noida, and I think all throughout the school of architecture, I didn't enjoy my colleagues too much. I mean, I always had a different thought process. I think in college we are very different people. We are very different when we get out of college, of course. So once even during college, I always was at loggerheads with everybody around me, and I was always fighting. I still am. I'm still fighting with my clients. I'm still fighting with my colleagues. But I guess there are a few things that you can change. Anyway, so but the one thing that I really loved was design. I never had anything. Any two ways about design, I just when I got into design, I think I forgot everything around me. I was like, no, this is where my world is. This is what I want to do. So yeah, I graduated from there, and the best part about my college was I topped my thesis, and when my thesis guide came to tell me that you topped your thesis, he also told me that you flunked your 4th year design exam. And And he's like, don't worry, no good architect would have passed without flunking their design exam. So you're doing the right thing, darling. I was like, okay. So yeah, that is how. And this is in the 5th year, of course. That you know, I got to know that, and then I had to sit for another exam, which was horrible, which I managed to pass. Yeah. Also in the 4th year, I was from Delhi, born, raised, lived there for close to 24 years of my life, and I hated Delhi. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, nothing personal against anyone, but Delhi was not a very safe place at that point in time, and I would go out on the buses, and you know, as a student, and I would have like hand fights with men, you know, like, how the hell are you touching me, or you know, whatever, and you know, it was always like that. And
wow, that's intense.
Yeah, and of course my father never allowed me to go out after 7 o'clock because it's not safe. I mean, we all know that. I mean, even today, I'll always make sure that I have a driver, I have a car, I don't step out alone. It's much better now, but imagine me as a like 20-year-old fighting with everybody. Yeah. And then I had the opportunity to work with architect Hafiz Contractor.
Wow.
So I came for my internship in my 5th year, 1st semester. 6 months I was in Bombay, and my God, my whole perspective changed. Oh God, I could walk out at 3 o'clock in the night, and you know, Hafiz's office is like that. You work till late, you know, you probably reach office at 12 and you work till 3 in the night.
Right.
And there was never an issue, so this was this newfound freedom. And I couldn't go back to Delhi.
Wow.
I had to go back and of course finish my thesis, but those 6 months of doing that thesis were the toughest time of my life, like living in that cage again and not going out, and while in Bombay there was so much freedom. So yeah, eventually when I told my dad that I want to shift to Bombay, he lost his, he said, are you out of your mind? Tu udhar heroine banne ja rahi hai. I said, Dad, are you crazy? Nahi, tu to heroine, to eko to Bollywood mein jana. That is why I said, Dad, what the hell are you talking? And he refused. He said, no, I'm not paying for your tickets.
Oh shit.
So I acted very smart. I looked for a firm which had its main headquarters in Bombay, and I went to the guy. I said, listen, I had a brilliant portfolio and worked with Hafiz Contractor, and at that time everybody was fancied by Hafiz Contractor 20 years back. You know, everybody was like, wow. And I mean, I have to give it to him. He brought the architecture to the masses. Before that, you know, we had the great, you know, architects, and you know, whether it was B.V. Doshi or, you know, but these were the people, or Charles Correa, they were not approachable. Like Hafiz Contractor made it to the masses. So everybody was fancy. Everybody hated him, and there were a whole set of people who loved him for what he had done. So I went to this firm and I told them that, listen, I'm going to work with you. And but my condition is that I want to be transferred to Bombay. He said, listen, you don't have to pay for anything. You just make sure that I get transferred to Bombay within 3 months. Whether it was, you can say, my good looks or my charm, something worked. And he said, okay. 3 months later, I go and tell him, Dad, mera transfer ho gaya. And Dad is giving me this look. ऐसे देखो, या तो आप टिकट करा दो, नहीं तो मुझे तो जाना ही पड़ेगा, you know, वो तो कंपनी ने बोला है, तो I can't do anything about it. So yeah, so I shifted to Bombay then in 2004.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's been great since.
Wow.
I worked with that jumping company for about 6-8 months, and then eventually I went back to Hafiz because I love the energy in that office. I worked with a fantastic boss, Arshad Ankolkar, who's not there unfortunately anymore. But I worked with him for 5 years.
Wow.
And yeah.
This is a rapid fire. Okay. Quickly you have to answer.
Okay.
Yeah. A celebrity designer everyone likes but you do not.
Sabyasachi.
Favorite Bollywood couple.
Oh God, I don't watch Bollywood. I'm sorry. I really don't.
तेरे पास जितनी gossip होगी ना सब फील्ड की ऐसी तो किसी के पास नहीं होगी.
I don't watch Bollywood. I don't even know who's married to whom. I don't know.
You भी अच्छा, who married whom right now? हाँ, 5 महीने पहले she married him, but today whom is she married to?
I swear, I'm really bad at Bollywood. How do you think I'm a Bollywood? I didn't want to get into Bollywood. I told you the first thing my father wanted me to get into Bollywood.
Oh, he wanted you to?
No, he didn't want me to get into Bollywood. Sorry.
Okay. If you had to show up at work dressed as a cartoon character, what would it be?
Mickey Mouse? No, not mouse. Which is that mouse? Arey, that Jerry mouse. Jerry. Jerry. Mouse. Mouse was my god.
You're clearly not getting the hamper. The last song you heard.
Oh god, shit, Karan. वो सुबह भक्ति के गाने सुनती हूँ मैं अपने घर. गायत्री मंत्र. That is a lost song.
कुछ नहीं मिला. गायत्री मंत्र.
You said the last song I heard गायत्री मंत्र. सुबह मेरे घर में भजन चलते हैं. समझ गए? तुम्हें लगती नहीं होगी.
Yeah, sure, okay. Gayatri mantra. What is that one thing you regret spending money on? Kids.
Yes. Sorry. They are the black hole in my life. I could be wearing Jimmy's shoes while I'm buying diapers. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. All for my love of having children.
A place you would rather not visit again.
So many, yaar. China. I don't like China.
Favorite holiday spot?
New York.
Okay. Fake a Bhojpuri accent.
भैया तुम तो बड़ा अच्छा लगत हो. Before in 2009, I started my own company.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And my company finishes 15 years this year.
Holy cow! Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
So, when you decided to start your own company, all right, how sound were you to be sure of taking up projects or getting projects that you would sustain?
I was thrown out of my job. This is 2008. Okay, the entire country is receding. We had that financial crisis in 2008, if you remember, and people were looking for reasons to throw out people. Yeah, and so while my boss was great, and I have to say that everything that I know is because of him. We started fighting. We started fighting to a point that he couldn't throw me out because my work was brilliant. So I think I did some silly mistake, and then it was, and they were obviously looking for a reason at that point in time to throw out anybody and everybody. Everybody was offloading. So really in 2008 December they asked me to leave overnight. They said you have to leave. And I wasn't the only one. There were others also, but because they got a reason, other than that. So I didn't have an option. I just काम नहीं है. Oh, अब क्या करूँ? अब तो कुछ. And the thing is that like I had a great thing going at Hafiz. So and I couldn't find anybody else to work with. So I basically I tried working with Sanjay Puri. I went to apply to his firm also. I don't know. I guess he didn't offer me enough money. So I was like, no, I don't want to work with so much money. This I can earn myself. And then I think I tried a couple of other architects at that point in time. Somehow nothing worked. But this is before, because I knew that I'm having problems in the office. So I was looking for a job already.
Already, okay.
Yeah, but then after that, I think it just all fell into place. My first projects were really my friends. And one friend said that, why don't you do my house? And obviously you do it for free. This was while I was still working at Hafiz, and I just told him, ye kar lo. And then somebody saw it and then said, why don't you do my house? So the first independent project that I got, I was paid 15,000 rupees. And oh my God, I was over the moon. 15,000 rupees of my own, which is not... I cannot tell you the joy in those 15,000 rupees. It's really amazing. So I did, and then one after the other, but it was mostly through word of mouth. We didn't have social media that time. We didn't have Facebook, or we didn't have any sort of platform where you could showcase your work.
Yeah, we didn't even have like those smartphones.
No, not
then.
Not we. I did not have it. You are from a different generation.
Yeah, but back in those days, even I didn't have it.
Yeah, but you were probably in college.
Yeah. I was using a Nokia communicator.
Yeah. So we did not have any smartphones. We used to carry the camera to take pictures of site and stuff like that. and you know, an architect cannot actually advertise. You know that,
Right.
Yeah, because you know, from the Council of Architecture, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Like it's like how doctors and lawyers cannot advertise. So basically the only way we could get work was word of mouth. So yeah, that's how this project started pouring in. What really helped was that I had a lot of good connections in Hafiz. I think it was also owing to the fact that I did good work. I stayed there for very long. I learned on the job. We all learn on the job. I don't think college teaches much.
Right.
And it is called a practice for a reason.
Right.
You know, you get perfect when you practice.
Right.
And I always tell this to my team that don't think that just because you worked for a year with somebody, you know, it's enough. You can be like, I'm still learning after 20 years also. And I think every project there is a new challenge. There are new problems that you face, and there are new things that you will learn that you shouldn't have done. So yeah, that's how I started getting the projects. And I think one of the biggest projects I first did was in about end of 2009, which was a 4 BHK at that point in time. And yeah, and he's still my client after close to 15 years.
Wow.
And yeah, the project got featured, of course, in a couple of magazines. I think Inside Outside used to be a magazine. They've shut now, but that is one of the magazines which had featured it. And then, of course, more work started pouring in and pouring in. And I still remember I started from a garage. Like literally a garage. I was everybody from the CEO to Chaprasi. I used to do jhadu in my own office and make my own chai and, you know, open the shutter every day, garage ka, go in. But yeah, there was never a moment, you know, that I felt burnt out. I have never felt burnt out in 20 years.
Wow.
Because if you love what you're doing, then it's not about work-life balance, I feel. You know, it's just about loving what you're doing. I mean, I am living my dream. I'm loving and living it.
Wow.
So, and like I said, for me, emotions form a very big, important part of design. So I hate doing commercial projects because there's no connect with anybody. I love working on residences, huge emotional connect with the people. Also because I shifted to Bombay, I didn't have family here. So eventually my clients became my first family.
Right.
And I think some of my oldest clients are still also my closest people, you know, whether it's, you know, if I have to leave my children today to them, I don't have to think, I just have to tell them, that, listen, I'm sending, you know, Atharvan over or Aryama over, and that's what it is. So, yeah.
So now that we know about your childhood dream that has turned into passion, and then you're already working, it's such a cool thing. Like, you know, nobody would have ever imagined that Priyanka Mehra was kicked out of an office, you know. I mean to say that.
Yeah, no, but it is true.
And
it is true.
And whatever happens for good because of that thing.
Yeah.
You were able to have your own setup today.
Yeah. I don't think that.
Look where you are.
Yeah, and I don't think that if I would have got that push, I would have ever opened my own company. I was very comfortable working with the Hafiz contractor, you know.
Right.
So, you know, you in an office, you know, you don't have to worry about salaries and you don't have to worry about rents and you don't have to worry about kal kiska bill aane wala hai. You just have to worry about when are you getting your salary.
Yeah, true.
It is very convenient, you know.
get
Being on your own is very difficult. And so I was very, very happy in the space I was, and it never bothered me. But I think I think the best things happen when you get out, when you get uncomfortable, right? When you get out of your, space in your cocoon, and then that's how you start getting better and better is what I would say. Yeah.
So we know today that your husband and you work together, and that is what PSD. Does he stand any name in your company name?
No, so PSD doesn't stand for either of our names. PSD stands for Perfect Symmetry in Design.
Oh, listen, I'm knowing this for the first time. I thought it was Piyush, and what is this S? What is this S?
No, it stands for Perfect Symmetry in Design.
Okay.
Honestly, PSD came a lot before than Piyush came into my life.
I know.
Yeah.
But
so I started the company in 2009, and Piyush joined me in 2012.
So tell us, little on your...
You want the gossip?
I need the gossip. How did you meet Piyush?
Sorry, Piyush, for putting this on camera. But I know he loves it now. Initially, he had a problem. Initially, he used to think, oh my God, why are we talking about this? And why are we this thing? But I think now he takes pride in it, you know. So Piyush was actually my intern.
Whoa!
Yeah, right. He got the boss.
Okay.
So he actually worked, he came for a summer internship with me, to work with me, and in 2011, he was here for a couple of, not a couple of months, maybe a month and a half or something. But he was very sincere. He was a very sincere kid. I mean, he's a gold medalist from BIT Ranchi. Yeah, so you can imagine how sincere that can be.
Yeah.
And he worked with me for about 1.5 months, and I think what connected me and Piyush initially, we were, of course, I mean, he's 6 years younger to me, so, and professionally he's 8 years younger to me. So imagine that I think I had already worked for I think 5 years or 6 years before he actually got into architecture.
Wow. Oh,
so
fuck. Okay.
yeah, I know it's a little crazy when you think of all those numbers, but so yeah, when he came to work with me, I think with him also, I think what really connected us was the design part. You know, he also loves designing. Yeah, he also is. You know, so when we sit together, we never argue on design. We'll argue on bhindi ki sabji ya baigan ka bharta, but we never argue on design. We are so much in sync with each other when it comes to design.
Yeah.
Although I would still say that we don't work with each other on a lot of projects, different reasons. But design was what connected us, and I saw the same passion in that young fellow at that point in time. There's a story behind why he came to work with me also, and I'll come back to that. But the you know, when he worked with me for that 1.5 months, I really saw somebody very sincere, and I told him at that point in time that and that was his summer internship. So I told him, why don't you come and work with me again? But because he was so brilliant, he got an opportunity to work in France.
Wow.
Yeah, and
wow.
And obviously that was an opportunity I couldn't say no to, and you know, I was quite disappointed, because I was like, yaar, you know, where do you find, you know, brilliant kids like this? And then I couldn't say no to him, and over the next couple of months we were still working together. He was doing a lot of work for me. But for me, you know, I was a little disappointed. I was like, yaar, ye beach chala gaya, abhi France ja raha hai, matlab kahan France aur kahan Bombay, you know, I couldn't even tell him ki nahi, tu France mat ja. So I said, theek hai, it's okay, you know, let him go. But I think once he was in France, he worked there for a couple of months, and eventually I got fed up. And, you know, then we started connecting, you know, over work, over calls. You know, we were talking almost on a daily basis, and I still remember. I mean, I did not fall in love with him, because I was like, yaar, matlab koi wo dimag mein nahi hai na, ye to bachcha hai. I just wanted him to come and work with me.
Poor guy's going to listen to this podcast and he's like, kya bol rahi hai ladki?
No, he knows it's true. It's on camera before also. And then one day he just wakes up and he says, I'm in love with you. I said, tu
I love this.
I said, are you crazy? I said, dude, I'm like 6 years elder to you. You know where I am. Like, this is not happening. This is not just, this is happening. He was, you know, the thing with him, he's very sure of what he wants. And he didn't budge. I guess, tu pagal ho gaya. You know, what you're talking, and this and that. And I think eventually I could see his determination. I was like, हाँ, मतलब ठीक है. So then I went to Paris to meet him. Yeah, and I was like, chal, you know, what the hell are you doing here? If you're in love with me, then come to Bombay. Why are you here? So then I think he got convinced, and that's how he came back. And then he joined the company. Of course, he was much younger and he had a lot to learn, just fresh out of college. And by the way, my mother-in-law still thinks मैंने फंसाया है. But I'm putting it on camera, मैंने नहीं फंसाया है. Yeah. Yeah, that's how we started working together. And also, I'll tell you, like I was telling you, so he had worked in Delhi in one of his other internships, and I think then he said, "Now let me go." He had worked with Romi Khosla at that point in time, which was a big firm, and then he said, "I want to work with a smaller firm." So he started looking for some companies and stuff like that. So he was looking for a smaller, profile-ish where he could be more involved in everyday this thing. And we were a small firm at that time, obviously. So he applied to us, and then I saw the portfolio. I was blown away. I was like, "Listen, I want this guy." And I was telling a friend at that time. I said, "Why will he come and work with me? Look at his portfolio. It's so brilliant. And why would this guy come and work with me?" So I said yes immediately. I said, "Yes, please, you're more than welcome." And he said, "Okay, I'm coming." And he told me this a couple of years later. He said, "I went to Facebook and I saw your profile picture." I said, "My God, ये तो बहुत hot boss है." इसके साथ तो काम करना ही पड़ेगा. So see, it's just because I talk too much, मेरा impression ऐसे कि सब मैंने ही फंसाया होगा, मैंने ही गलत किया होगा, just because he keeps this innocent, poker face. He's not innocent.
He is.
He's not.
Come on.
He just has a poker face, and that's what works for him. That is why the entire world thinks Piyush to kitna acha hai, So, yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
All right. So he comes after a few years.
Yeah.
And he joins your company.
Yeah.
When do you decide to tie knots?
So I think when he started working with me, I was already 32, and my parents were after my life to get married because they were like, "तू शादी कर, इससे कर ले, उससे कर ले." रोज रिश्ते आ रहे थे यार, रोज इनबॉक्स में एक लड़के का प्रोफाइल आ जाता था और मैं उसको डिलीट मार देती थी. I think once we started working, our synergies matched so much. So I thought and then, I mean, he was 26 at that time, yeah. So, like, who gets married at 26? and while we were dating, my time was running out. So I threatened him. I said, "Dekh, ye situation hai, and if you want to go any further," I said, "either I get married, and if you want to marry me now, you have to get married now." And my first condition to him was that I want to have kids. I said, "I'm 32. I don't want to have kids at 40. And believe me, that was my only condition. So
A-rated stuff.
And imagine telling a 26-year-old. So, yes, traditional families, it's different, but in a professional world, 26 is too good, and 26 my father. Imagine what he was going through. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
So this was my condition to him. I told him कि you want to get married to me? I will have a child in the first year of marriage. I will have a second child and I have a third child. I wanted 3 children. He agreed to it.
मार डाला बेचारे को. पहले ही मार डाला. Okay.
He agreed to. He says, "Okay, I don't have an option." He said, "Okay." And I said, "Fine. So अपने मम्मी पापा से बात करो." मेरे तो my parents were like, "तू किसी से भी शादी कर ले, तू शादी कर ले बहन." So yeah, but we had to go through a whole lot of drama to convince his parents.
Right.
Because elder girl, it just doesn't work, across our society. And they're from Lucknow. They're from. But I have to give it to them. I think they have been extremely forthcoming. They welcomed me once they understood our equation. They understood who I was. I think my father-in-law is great. He always says, "I don't have 2 sons. I have 3 sons." He always keeps me the highest in the family, and which is really amazing. So yeah, I mean, I think once we cross that barrier, and like I said with Piyush, everybody knows that if he says this, he wants to do it, he will do it. So his parents also asked him, "Are you sure this is the girl you want to marry?" He said yes, and they didn't have an option. They said, "Okay, fine, kar lo fir shadi." I mean, it wasn't so easy. It went through a long process. When Piyush met my father, the only question my father had to him was like, तुम्हें पता है मेरी बेटी को गुस्सा कितना आता है? And Piyush is like, gee uncle, I suffer it on an everyday basis. So, and that's ठीक है, तुम्हें पता है तो कोई problem नहीं है, कर लो, कब करेंगे शादी? And that's literally how we got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
So which year did you guys get married in?
2014.
2014.
Yeah, we finished 10 years today. In this
Wow,
year. Yeah.
that's sick.
Yeah.
And he joined your firm in 2012.
12, yeah. So
Wow.
2 years later we got.
Okay, so I've always been of an opinion that partnerships don't work.
Yeah.
Okay, perhaps somewhere I feel that I'm a very strong-headed person, and somewhere I need things to be done my way.
Yeah.
Okay. And having somebody else on board, of course, if you're not working on the same projects, you do your shit, I do my shit, that's a different thing. But initially, when you're like working together and all of that, there are a lot of conflicts. Okay, and this I'm talking about like a generic partnership, like you and anybody else you're with. Right? So now that we know that, you had your life partner, also your work partner, working in the same office, being together the whole day, I feel somewhere a great success of any relationship is because the wife is home, or in today's day, she's also working. The husband is working somewhere else. They come raat
How
mein.
misogynistic of you. The wife is home.
You are. It's like, so my mom is home. Okay. So, but like say for example, my sister, she works, she runs her own gallery and all that. My brother-in-law goes out to work and all. So you don't see each other for the whole day. So when you see, like, when you meet in the evening, you feel like, there's something new. But din mein bhi saath, raat mein bhi saath, pure din saath, aur itne saalon tak saath. Like, I want to know how this worked for you.
So I will give this credit to Piyush somewhere. So, see, traditionally, in most relationships, a man takes the lead, right? He is the stronger one. Traditionally, it is true. Women are, they are subtle.
Tend to take a step back.
Yeah, they tend to take a step back. It does happen. In our case, I was 8 years senior to Piyush.
Right.
Okay. He let me take the lead. He knew that I know there'll be, it's not going to be, I will not be able to match her knowledge.
Right.
Okay. He put his male ego aside.
Wow.
And I think it takes a lot of strength to do that, because a male ego is a male ego.
Right.
But he did never let it come in. So I'll tell you a very funny. I'm a taskmaster.
Right.
Okay. I'm like when I'm at work, I'm a different person.
Right.
Okay. And because I'm so passionate about my work, I don't like screw ups at work. I don't like things going wrong. So, when it's with my team, I'll always be like pushing them and always be shouting at them, ye kyun kiya hai aur ye kyun kiya? And I'm like, tumhe bahut pyar se bol rahi hu. I'm not like this, I'm typically like a mad woman at work. I'll be shouting and throwing things and, throwing tantrums at ye kyun nahi hua, wo kyun nahi hua, whatever. So this is, our initial, this is not when we were married. We were just dating, and, we would be in the office. And for me, when you're at work, you're at work. You can't mix work with your, personal life. So there would be times that he would bring something to me, and I would start shouting at him in front of the whole office. So, ye kya kiya hai? Tumhe ye nahi karna aata tha. And at the end of the day, obviously, he would be like, yaar, why she's shouting at me? Nobody knew in the office that we were dating, but he would be upset that, why she's shouting at me, and main koshish to kar raha hu, or whatever. And 8 o'clock, I was like, baby, chalo, aaj kahan khana khane chalna? And he's like, what a bitch, man. Sumah tak chilla rahi thi, abhi baby ho gaya. So I had to explain this to him. I had to tell him, listen, what you do at work is very different from what I feel for you. For me, work is worship. Today, I have my identity because of my work. And I cannot have anything screw up the work. And ideally, you shouldn't also. So keep those two parts separate.
Wow.
I think he understood it. And it became easier from there. till a point couple of years back where I think he also started, you grow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he also started growing not just as a partner but also as an architect. You know, started gaining knowledge, and he's very sharp. If he gets into things, he's really amazing. You know, he will get into the detail of every single thing. And I've heard this not from you know, not from his parents or my parents, but random people who have seen him work and who he has asked questions that, wow, he's so sharp. So I think there was a point in time that we had this argument again, and you know, he snapped back at me about something, and he said, no, this is not how it is, and or some conversation we had, and suddenly मेरे अंदर की औरत जाग गई. And I was like, तुम बदल गए हो. I said, you did not do this for so many years, and now you have an ego. And then he said, listen, I will also grow up, right? You don't want me to grow up? He asked it very nicely, Karan. And I was like, yeah, right. You know,
so beautiful.
Yeah, it
so
was,
beautiful.
you know, and I really thought that, yes, he has to grow up, and this is what I want. This is what I would expect out of my partner. So, but yes, with that, the change in our relationship came. Because then we did start having a bit of clashes with each other. So this was, say, maybe about 4 years, up till 4 years back, we were working on a lot of projects together. But then we started having a difference of opinion on certain things, not on design. The design still unites us, but the way of working. So Piyush is very nice with clients. He listens to them. I'm as mad as ever. I'm not listening to you. I mean, I listen to them initially, but then if I put my foot down, I put my foot down.
Yeah.
And so what was happening in our projects, that you know, the clients would say that, okay, why is he listening and she not listening? You know, that started creating a tiff between us. And that's when I told Piyush that maybe it's time that we start working on individual projects. There's still projects that we work on together.
Right.
I mean, there are projects that, you know, that needs both our involvement. And clients do expect that, because, you know, it's a partnership firm, one partner should be there. But other than that, we pretty much work on separate projects.
Nice.
That keeps the sanity in our relationship.
Nice.
And there was a point that we realized that it is important that we separate out this because
makes sense.
you know, you don't want to be, you know, fighting in the office and then fighting at home because of work. Unfortunately, what happens is you take the work home. So, you know, you're lying down in bed. अरे इसका पैसा नहीं आया. अरे वो अभी तक construction नहीं हुआ. That is something that you cannot avoid, no matter how hard we try. Our kids hate it for us. Mom, Dad, stop talking. You're always talking work. But that is how it is.
But it's amazing that at least, like, you're not fighting.
No, we are not.
It's constructive. Whatever you're talking about is still constructive.
So if there is a project that I'm working on, and I'll always take his opinion. I will always show my design to him. What do you think? He will always improve on it, comment on it. If there is his project, then I will always make sure that you know, I give my inputs on it. If we are working on a project together, then we take separate paths. So if you know, if I'll take up the designing, he will take up the execution. Of course, again, there is, because, you know, design, to, you know, you don't look at numbers when you're designing, and you have to look at numbers when you're executing the project. So there is always a friction there. But we've sort of tried, you know, we try to put in the numbers before, so the friction is lesser and lesser. But we keep our paths separate. We tell the client also that, you know, this is how it is going to work if you want us to work on this same project.
Here we are. This is the last segment. Okay.
अभी भी कुछ बचा है.
Last
बज गए, मेरे client का phone बजे जा रहा है तब से.
अच्छा रुक जा. अब ये last segment है, ठीक है? So basically on the screen we will show. You have to guess the logos. Okay, which one is right?
क्या? This is shit, man. I cannot do all this nonsense. Yeah, I couldn't do a rapid fire. You're expecting me to remember logos? Listen,
okay, it's very simple. Okay, they are like logos which you see every day. Which is the correct one?
I think the one on the right.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrong, yes. Shit. Clearly, this is not a brand that I'm fond of.
Yeah, sure. Okay, fine. Okay, this left
The one
or
on the
right?
left.
Okay, you're right.
The one on the right.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. I don't eat from Burger King. I don't
But
eat burgers.
you see it everywhere.
Doesn't matter. You pay attention to things that you eat. This is all junk food. Can you see?
Yeah, shut up. Okay, tell me.
The one on the right.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
Top. I think top.
No, it's
Bottom?
the bottom one.
Okay, fine. Oh fuck. Oh this is embarrassing. अरे ये तो रोज चेंज करते हैं. गूगल का कोई वाइब ऐसे ही होता है. कभी कभी उसके ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ लटका हुआ होगा. अरे क्रिसमस होती है तो सैंडल लटक जाता है. दिवाली होती है तो लक्ष्मी जी आ जाती हैं. ये दिस इज नॉट अ लेजेंड.
बट ये कलर चेंज नहीं होते.
नहीं नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. लेफ्ट वाला होगा तो राइट वाला होगा.
होगा क्या होता है? एक सिलेक्ट करो ना आप.
इंकी पिंकी पोंगी. I think left wala hai. Yeah.
Think you got right. Okay. It was a great, informative talk today. We've generally, whenever we've met, we've only laughed.
Yeah, I don't know how we spoke so much today.
And today I'm really surprised that she also was a little serious.
She talks.
Yeah, she talks. she spoke sense. She gave advice. Okay, I remember the last time I met Priyanka and I was dropping her home. No, you were driving. I was driving.
Yeah, no, I was driving.
Oh, she was driving. She was dropping me somewhere middle of the road, and we actually parked the car and we laughed for like some 15 minutes because she has some shit. Yeah, we could have done one of those episodes where you just share your stories. So
season 2. Wait for season 2.
Yeah, wait for season 2 because I think we should have Priyanka one more time, and that time we're not going to talk any sense. Yeah. It is just going to be Priyanka.
People are like, this is also a lot of nonsense today. What sense this conversation made?
And Priyanka is an amazing person. I've known her for like a couple of years now. From a point, what? You know, from a point where I used to think that who is Priyanka Mehra? Like, ये कौन है जो मेरा client सर खा रहा है कि Priyanka is this, Priyanka is that. To actually, I was like, you know what? आज तो मुझे ये घर दिखाई दो. इसने जो करा है, मतलब मुझे देखना है कि इस लड़की ने क्या करा है कि मतलब you were bajawing me. Yeah. Okay, so I did see 2 projects done by you.
कौन से वाले?
The Ambi Valley project. This one's.
Okay.
And I was floored, okay? I was really impressed and I was like, wow, like the work is really cool. It inspired me. And since then, I was always looking forward to get a chance to like, when I would see them and when I would talk to her. And it happened so that I met Piyush in Delhi. Somebody randomly introduces me to Piyush. And Piyush goes and says that, you know what? You should meet my wife. You should wait and you should meet her. And I was like, yeah, bhai, like, listen, I have to go. And I was like, no, you have to wait. You have to meet Priyanka and then you have to go. And that's how the first time I meet Priyanka. And it's been amazing ever since.
Yeah, so has
that I've called her for work. I've called her for primarily a lot of nonsense talks and
yeah, because that's what you think that I can
listen, you're here for a reason, okay? So I am inspired.
Thanks, Karan. Thanks.
I am inspired by her.
Karan.
Okay.
Thanks for putting that on camera.
I love their design aesthetics. I love their style. And if you've also enjoyed this show, if you've loved our conversation today, and if you'd like to know more about anything from Priyanka, you can leave your comments, you can leave your questions.
भेज देना एक दो comment तो डाल देना मुझे अच्छा लगेगा कि somebody wants to know.
And we make sure that we get your response.
Yeah.
And
there should be legit comments, huh?
Yeah. That is Priyanka for
Woo-hoo,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on our Shu Khabar platform.
Thank you, Karan.
And gracing
मैं
us.
बोलूँ कुछ या तू नहीं बोलना है सब?
अच्छा, okay, बोल दे यार.
Thank you, Karan, for having me. How nice of you. अभी और क्या बोलना? No, but seriously, thank you for having me here. And it was good fun and good conversation. I did not know that we will have to wait for 2 hours before we have, you know, this conversation for 2 hours. And
cut, edit.
But ठीक है, अभी जो वो मेरा बिल है वो मैं भिजवा दूंगी तुम्हारे पास, तो प्लीज.
हाँ जी मैम, sure. और कुछ? Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.